Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 here. We are going to be talking about last night's episode of The Walking Dead, season 8, episode 7. Wanted to start off with a very kind of not happy moment, but back on July 13th of 2017, while filming this episode, a stuntman by the name of John Bernecker passed away in the filming. So we wanted to start off tonight's cast as a rest in peace to John with a moment of silence. Okay, all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados.
And back to the levity.
Back to the levity, yes. So once again, our hearts and prayers are with his family. So thank you so much for coming. We rightfully accept your following us and seeing the show as we have a whole episode that was basically about Eugene. And that's pretty much the conversation that happened through the whole episode. So let's talk about who's joining us. We got me, Mess 5150 here. I've also got ICZorro here in attendance with us again.
What's going on, folks? Thank you. Good to be back. Yeah, this one was heavy on Eugene. And I think we've gotten some more clarity. I think it might have been a few episodes we asked, is there anything that Eugene could do to redeem himself? No.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into, is if he can. Yeah. So Mrs. Malice, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see somebody man up. Finally.
Yeah. This felt like, at first I wasn't too keen on this episode. I think it redeemed itself a little bit, but yeah, the acting is well. The acting's great on that, but his character, I can't stand having him on the screen too often.
Yeah,
I mean,
he uses the weirdest idioms, like things that nobody has ever said before. Things like, you look like a potato and what was it, shit sandwich or something, casserole.
Just about that, yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, and
just a weird guy.
That really was the main story of this week's episode, was Eugene figuring himself out, I guess. I don't know, because it was like he finally decided on which side he's on, kind of. Yeah.
Well, I think he clarified which side he's always been on, which is his own.
Yeah. But I mean, we got terms along your friends are going to die. They're not my friends, just traveling companions.
Such a dude.
We got, he started out with, even when he writes, what I know, I don't know, things I am unaware of, holy. He still writes even in the way he talks, which
he's becoming a little bit of an alcoholic too.
If by an ounce and a half a day as an alcoholic, then I'm way past that.
Yeah. Speaking as the wine connoisseur that you are, sir,
right?
I don't think I can do an ounce and a half.
Wine that you got.
Oh, I didn't see what it was. I think it had a screw top though. So yeah.
No, I think it had a cork top.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Is there any fine wine left in the zombie apocalypse? That's the first question of the day.
Oh,
folks.
Absolutely. Find the rich people. Find the rich people houses. They get cellars.
Well, yeah. Daryl and Beth found that one place in that one episode. So hey.
Yeah, true.
When her foot was hurt before she got kidnapped and then died.
I want to welcome Jay Lee to the chat room. He says Eugene is breaking his GD heart. For those, so I want to get into Eugene on this episode for the first main story. For those that don't read the comic, Eugene is a completely different character than he is in the comics. Outside of it, his intelligence level is pretty much the same, but he refuses to join Negan in the comics when he gets captured. So we have a completely different dichotomy to his character going on in this episode. That might be why it's breaking his Jay Lee's GD heart. But I mean, what do you guys think about his actions? Like you said, is there any redeemability to him?
No.
I honestly, at one point, I thought, man, you remember when Abraham knocked him out and he was out for like 3 episodes? I wish he would have just died at that point.
And that's the thing is a lot of people are calling for his head. They want his character to be killed off at this point because he's
terrible.
Yeah, towards our heroes, towards our the people we love. It goes back into this whole season's been who's the hero, who's the villain. And that's an interesting aspect that was brought up, is that everybody's going to be talking about how Eugene's terrible, what he did in this episode was horrible, that he's on Negan's side, all that stuff. But he states the fact that we're saviors, we save. He's looking to save people. So looking at it
he also said, you know what? I'm going to survive. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah. You got him. One thing he's saying that he wants to save people, and the next minute he's like, I want to survive.
Saving people is fine and good. And, now granted, it's subjective. We're biased. I think Rick's group saves people pretty well as well. But when saving people takes back the backseat to saving your own skin, the one thing I do appreciate about Eugene is that he is very self-aware. He's like, oh no, I'm a coward. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm still alive is because I'm a coward and because I know how to manipulate other people.
Do you think because of what happened with Dwight in this episode? So guys, if you haven't watched the episode, this is really not going to make a lot of sense.
If you haven't watched the episode, why are you here?
The whole thing, this is a spoiler cast. It's just to geek out and talk with you guys about the episode and for you guys to discuss with us about the episodes. Like I said, this is not, we're not paid to do this. This is not a professional thing whatsoever. It's just a bunch of fans and geeks of the show that want to talk about fandom and want to discuss it with you, everybody watching as well. And yeah, I'm going to try and explain what happened in the episode, but you'll follow along a lot better if you've watched the episode already. So, sure. But yeah, we have 3 indications of what happens with Dwight. But the first one being that Eugene figures out pretty easily that Dwight is the rat, and goes.
We saw him figure that out before, yeah.
Yeah, but he writes down, does his check, and then actually speaks with Dwight and tells Dwight that from this point forward, he won't rat him out as long as he just ceases and desists, doesn't do what he's doing anymore.
Yeah.
All Judas Street backstabbery and
no, Jaylee, you can't leave. Jaylee said it's not a procast. That's it. I'm out. So, but yeah, he tells him that stuff, and then later on, when he's going to apparently rat out Dwight, he holds his tongue. And do you think that because here's the thing, Eugene is the longest living character in the comics right now that is not part of the original members. So there's a lot of his story left from the comics. Mm-hmm. So do you think that him not ratting out Dwight is a way that the writers are trying to keep him redeemable to further him, or do you think he's gonna get capped at some point in this season?
I just saw him as a coward not speaking up right when Dwight walked in. So
yeah, I'm half where Mrs. Malice is and half with the question that you asked, because I think he had every intention of telling Negan that Dwight was the guy, because he's thrown in his lot on that side. He sees that as his best chance for survival. And it just so happened that Dwight walked in right there, and he figured, if I had said this 5 seconds earlier, a gun would be to Dwight's head. But if I say it right now, there's going to be a gun to my head from Dwight, and then everybody around here is going to die, and all of a sudden everything's wrong.
And he's not saving people like he wants to do.
I don't think that's not a major motivation for him. That's the excuse that he uses for other people. We save people. His real motivation is I stay alive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's plain and simple. That's it.
Let's go into this more.
Well, and if I could backtrack for a quick second, when he confronts Dwight about knowing that Dwight is the guy working with Rick's group, I thought Dwight had a pretty solid counter argument.
Which is what I was going to bring.
Yeah, he said, "Look, this place is done. There's 20 deep around the walls with the walkers. food and water's running low, morale's running low, the workers aren't happy, the saviors are barely, trying to do what they were doing before. He said, we can end this and only Negan has to go. You still get to save people. You remove the cancerous head, and that should be it. But,
But
Eugene is Eugene.
In that conversation, in an argument, what Dwight says is that when people die, the blood's on your hands. You will have that blood on your hand. That'll be on your hands. You never come back from that. You become that person. And I don't think it was a coward thing having to do with him seeing Dwight there and going, oh, I'm afraid to. He doesn't want Dwight's blood on his hands. I don't think. I think he realizes that if he rats him out, that puts him into that step that he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a killer.
I could see that. I would disagree, though. I think he just couldn't do it in front of Dwight.
I'm looking for something that could be a redeemable quality for.
Well, we just had Stephanie R join us in the chat room. Hello, Stephanie. And in her opinion, there is not a thing he can do to be redeemable. And I'm right there.
There's no.
It would take amazing writing for me to like Eugene again.
Exactly.
Yeah, and his biggest problem, if he tries to go back to the group, he's got to deal with Rosita. And remember, they had that whole thing at the fence.
He was watching her have sex? No, different thing.
No, no, not that far back. Not that far back. No, the part where Sasha and her were kind of trying to solo go take on the group, and they ran into Eugene trying to get him to come, and he's like, no, and he backed away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem with Rosita.
Yeah.
So
I feel like accepting Eugene back at this point is roughly the same as letting Gregory into the Hilltop. It's a bad decision.
Yeah. It's a bad decision.
Okay, I agree with that. And yeah, I don't know if there's a redeemable quality in him. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like I said last week, we asked the stupid questions, so you don't have to. So I will ask those questions. You guys can hate me, but somebody's got to do it. So I'll be the one to do it. But just a few details on Eugene, a little more, because Josh McDermott does do quite a bit of talking about the show and his character and stuff. He's probably the most.
He's such a good actor too.
Out there discussing. He does explain the difference between Eugene in the TV show versus in the comics, and he's saying that Eugene's burying his emotions to survive. That's why he's calling them his traveling companions. That's why he's literally not letting there be any type of emotion. He's trying to think 100%
because if they're not his friends, then he's not doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that's the situation that he's trying to say. Another interesting tidbit. So we saw Eugene kiss the ring, or try to. With Eugene.
It was so awkward. That was the worst.
Oh my god.
That honestly may have been my favorite scene of the episode because Negan's response to it was like, I was just going in for a hand.
He actually even tries to save the moment. He goes, I can understand why you might think that.
Yeah. But the trying, the whole like
Emperor Negan.
Yeah.
By the way,
let me kiss that
we've got one of our main cast members, Beacon, is in the chat room as well, and he says he just loves Eugene.
He says he's a damn coward, but the guy cracks me up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the other thing about that scene, what Josh McDermott said was that JDM Negan had guac on his fingers when Eugene kissed them.
Ooh, delicious.
So maybe it wasn't a kiss of the ring. He just really wanted that guac. He loves pickles and guac.
Yeah, pickles and guac. He really wanted some more guac. Yummy.
Somebody needs to try that combination now. Not me. I think pickles are the devil.
I have a comment there about licking guac off Negan's hand, but I'll keep that to myself.
Wow.
But you didn't keep it to yourself.
Folks, would you lick guac off of Negan's fingers?
Yes.
Let us know in the comments below.
I would, and I'm an unabashedly straight man. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is pretty, though.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is an amazing man. So
I would lick guac off his hands.
And we digress.
Also, did we notice how clean Negan's jacket was? That thing cleaned up really, really well.
His harem must have been working on it overnight with some nice leather conditioner and yeah.
Nope. I thought
Or
we can.
it's like we said last week, he is Gilligan and has just a closet full of jackets.
Closet full of jackets, just all the same jacket.
Wouldn't surprise me because if you notice when Dwight walked in, it was in Dwight's room, on the door hanging when he shut the door was two of the same checkered I forgot the name. Yeah, shirts, the exact same shirts hanging on the door.
Flannels.
So,
Yeah,
flannels.
Yeah.
Beacon points out, and this is a line that we kind of skipped over, but it was in the conversation between Negan and Eugene. And I know Beacon also pointed this out in our writer's room chat. He said, you got to respect that spongy material between your eyeballs and that magnificent mullet. That man is a wordsmith.
Now kiss my hand.
What did you guys think when Eugene pulled the flyer out with the iPod to direct the zombies away? I mean,
well, he is a genius. I'll give him that. He's a pretty smart guy.
I wrote down, damn it, Eugene is smart.
Yeah. Well, there was a snippet of conversation earlier about how the stereo truck almost pulled all of them away. And you got to realize that they're attracted to noise and motion. So that was a really smart idea. And you could see where he is actually struggling with the fact that these people were his friends. When he goes to get that iPod out of Sasha's coffin, he almost has a breakdown right there. You know, like he's remembering her walking out of there as a walker. Yeah. And he cries. Well, of course he cries as Eugene, but you can see he is still emotionally invested in Rick's group. He just can't let himself be.
That's what McDermott says is the character. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he also kind of is the one that gave her the pill too for her to die in the coffin.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's right. I forgot about that. Good call.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be for Negan.
Yeah.
That's what his one of his wives calls out in this episode when she goes back for the
boombox. Yeah.
Of alcohol. But there's more to. I mean, Dwight comes up there, tries to stop him, puts a gun to his head, basically says he's going to shoot him. That's the first time that we see Eugene kind of man up and be ballsy and just say, well, screw it. I'm here to save people.
It's the first time he sacks up, and it's for the wrong team.
I'm going to read this off to you guys because the song that plays on the iPod when he plays it is called Paul Simon. It's by the Russian Futurists. They always like to put little hints of things and stuff. There was kind of interesting little Easter eggs with this, but I'm going to read these lyrics really quick. There's this one word. It's called comfort. It's the strangest, most dangerous place I could hide. And it's a wonder this cold comfort hasn't hollowed and swallowed you and I from inside. And you're my first mite on the worst nights. My gut's not up. My heart bursts like a piñata pops. This has got to stop. Watch the water drop from clouds. It sure rains a lot. And I felt how a heart melts down. I'm so burnt out. I'm a shell now. It's the worst of lows. It's the first to go. It's the last to come. Back when the sun melts the snow. What I'm giving, you is taking. Lots of lying and some faking. Have I gone too far? Am I too far gone? I've been up all night. I fight to keep out the dawn. And we felt how our hearts melt down. We're so burnt out. We're a shell now. It's the worst of lows. It's the first to go. It's the last to come. But back when the sun melts the snow. Those are the lyrics on the song that plays when the iPod starts.
Wow. We only got to hear about 2 lines of that on the actual show. That's fantastic. I love when writers layer stuff in like that. Lost was famous for it. They would have a vague reference that was like, oh man, that little thing that just explains the entire episode that's happening right now. I love that.
And I think we lost Mrs. Malice. Hopefully she's coming back.
Yeah, she'll be back.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think that ties into anything with Eugene's kind of thought process going on?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's the whole section about I'm a shell now, and am I too far gone? He's struggling with it emotionally, as you have brought up. McDermott is saying that the character is disassociating from his past relationships because he has to, but he's still struggling with it. Even when he's launching the little iPod flyer, he's really struggling with it. He's like, ah! And yeah, no, I think if there's hope for redemption, it's in those moments. It's where you see he may be doing terrible things, but he's not 100% with it.
Yeah. Here's the Easter egg with that song. So next week is the mid-season finale for season 8. In the lyrics, it says "Too Far Gone," where season 4 mid-season finale's episode name was "Too Far Gone," where the governor came to the prison with Tara and we lost Herschel.
Hi, Nightblood.
Yeah, so
Hey,
that's what some people are questioning after finding that kind of little Easter egg, is Eugene too far gone? And I think the consensus that we've come to is it looks like he is.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
I mean, they're not scared to deviate from the comics, so no matter how long he may or may not last in the comics, and like I've said before, I've only ever read up to episode 100 or issue 100. I don't know if he's still alive in the comics. I wouldn't be surprised if he's killed off in the show.
Yeah, and I just spelled that completely wrong.
But not until he comes.
As I was responding to Nightblood, welcome to the chat. He said that Walking Dead or she, don't know, that Walking Dead episode was good. What did you like most about the episode? I know it got better as the episode went along. So, and I completely misspelled what I was writing. So sorry. Yeah. So I mean that was the gist of Eugene. We did hear that Eugene had a plan, which we clearly see what that is at the end of the episode somewhat, which we'll get into when we talk about Rick's storyline. The other major storyline that was going on within this episode was Daryl's revenge. What do you guys think of the whole?
Daryl's going, and he and Rick have had this battle verbally already. Daryl's willing to do whatever it takes to end the Saviors.
Yeah, I love my Daryl, but what he did was kind of stupid. I'm sorry.
Well, and you see, people like Rosita and Michonne are initially on board, and then just kind of going, you know what? No, this isn't who we are. And at first, I wasn't even sure what was happening. I was like, did I miss something? But yeah, when you see the plan carried out, you're like, ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, it was a good idea, yet it wasn't part of their original plan. So it
was a good and successful idea.
Yeah. So it was a good idea, but at the same time, that wasn't the plan because they jumped the gun and just couldn't wait.
You have to decide whether winning is worth your moral being,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a huge move towards winning, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it was right.
Nightblood says favorite part of the episode was the ending. He's bringing up something that I'm right there with him.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
Daryl equals Shane. I'm seeing the same parables going on here.
Yep.
I called it 3 episodes ago that I said what is it going to take for Rick to have to take Daryl out, and Daryl's making the decisions that are causing more and more issues. Yes, did the plan work? What they wanted to do worked. They got the zombies in there, but who we won't know until maybe the next episode. But could the plan be what made it easier for them to get out of the sanctuary, because now they have a hole for these zombies to go into, so they can just pick them off and shoot them off until they get.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that the plan was to get the zombies in there. I think the plan was to have the zombies surround them so that they would surrender, because Rick doesn't want to. Well, yes, no. Daryl's plan, absolutely.
Daryl's plan was to get the zombies in there and just let them wreak havoc, but
which seems
the response was, how many guns do they have left? They can't stop us. Apparently, they have a lot of guns left because they were shooting like crazy in there.
Beacon makes the point right there. Yeah.
Yeah, Beacon brings up a great point. That's the exact same plan that the governor used at the prison.
Yep.
Ram a hole in defenses and let the herd take care of it. So,
but they didn't have the armory at the prison that the sanctuary clearly has still within the sanctuary.
Yeah. Yes. And did we actually see? Eugene talking to Negan says that he has figured a way out of it. Mm-hmm. Did we actually hear what that plan was?
Well, no. He said it's going to take a lot of bullets. That'll take a lot of bullets.
Yeah, but we don't know what the actual
Eugene
plan
has
is.
clearly made it known that he can replace the bullets because that's
Yeah.
what was said in the plan. And in the comics, Eugene does figure out a way to move hordes away by using horns on vans and stuff. And we see car tracks coming out of the sanctuary when the sanctuary is empty at the end of the episode. So that could be what he did. He ended up rigging up a horn that just kept going, and the car drove and just directed all the zombies that were left over away as they killed off the ones that got in there.
Yeah.
But I think that the real issue here is going to be at the end of the episode, Rick sees what has happened there. He's going to figure that it was Daryl, and they're going to have some sort of ideological discussion there, because Rick was not for, you got to imagine letting all those walkers into that building killed most of the workers, and the workers aren't the fighters. The workers are the workers. They're just people that needed sanctuary somewhere. And that's been one of the main conflicts between them in this season is, do we win hard or do we win right?
Well, that appeared to be the thing that was the tipping point for Eugene as well. That's when he went back into Gabriel and was like, no, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, was once that truck came through, because it's like, these guys are bad. I've been captured by the saviors and they've done nothing but take care of me. And
for him, yeah.
For him, but once again, he's all about himself.
Yep.
And he hasn't seen them.
Pickles.
They haven't been killing people off, except the one guy they threw in the furnace. But
the doctor, which is was stupid. Let's throw the doctor in the furnace.
Now, was that Shadrach, Meshach, or Abednego?
Yeah. Back to the Bible references. But that's the thing is Rick understands the importance of people. Negan, as terrible as he can be, understands the importance of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Daryl has shown no regard for people with this going on.
Not at all. So I would argue that at this point, it's not, is Rick's group the bad guys? Is Daryl a bad guy?
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of leaning towards being a bad guy.
Yeah, he is.
If we hadn't been following him for 7.5 seasons, we would definitely consider him the bad guy at this point.
I hate to say that about it, but I agree. Daryl is becoming the bad guy, and it just breaks my heart. My Daryl.
Yeah. He's got PTSD.
Still, if Daryl dies, we riot.
Yes.
I think it's coming. And I will give you the reason why.
I know you've been calling it since the start of the season, I think.
Give you the reason why it's coming. So what will it take for Rick to kill Daryl? Again, what has to happen for Rick to actually go off the deep end and say Daryl?
Something happening to Carl.
I was gonna say he would have to put either Carl or the Judith in danger.
Michonne in danger.
He knows that Michonne can take care of herself.
And this is coming from things that I found in research. I think Judith's days are numbered.
Oh yeah.
That would make sense.
So for non-comic book readers, there is a retaliation against Alexandria in the comics.
Nightblood says, I heard that Carl is going to die in the next episode.
They keep saying that. I don't think that's
I know.
I know with the Carl saying, as long as we survive through tonight, that's what the... So here's the reasons that we found... Here's the reasons that have been found where I think it's Judith. In the comic, like I said, there is a retaliation against Alexandria after all this going on. Negan comes with grenades and bombs the hell out of Alexandria, which, for all we know, the fat lady could still be something else, as Mrs. Malice said last week. If one of those end up killing Judith, and Rick finds out that because they were able to escape because of Daryl's plan and not listening, that's going to set him off.
Oh yeah.
Now,
look what you did.
This is why we think Judith might be the one dead. Flash forward, episode 1. The little girl that comes running to him, he never says her name.
Right.
The stuffed animal that she is holding when she runs up to him is the stuffed animal that he finds with Gracie.
Oh, man.
And it would
Okay.
explain why there's such a huge time jump in terms of how Rick looks, and they don't show what Carl looks like.
Yep.
The other thing, you see Rick standing over Glenn and Abraham's graves.
Mm-hmm.
If he is doubting what's going on with Daryl, what's he going to do? Go back and realize Glenn wouldn't be dead if Daryl didn't jump the gun in the first place against.
I
know, but this is like all these things that they're showing in episode 1 that could be what's showing this lead up to this happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are and then of course we see the one where
I'd actually like to point out the fact that people have doubted the showrunner, Scott Gimple, and the writers of this show over and over again, saying like, what are they even doing right now? We were even saying in that first episode, like, what are they doing?
What?
But you got to realize they have a plan for that kind of stuff. Like, we're 8 episodes in, 8 episodes in, and it's like, all that stuff's really relevant now.
Mm-hmm.
So
they make
planned
more
it out
sense.
that way.
Stephanie brings up she doesn't want to think about no Daryl.
Neither do I.
None of us do.
No.
But the way I've been seeing this season is the writing's on the wall for it. And as I said before, Norman Reedus is attached to the hip to Kirkman. He's been with the show. He loves Kirkman, and the fact that Kirkman's going to Amazon, Reedus might be.
I need Norman Reedus in my life. What am I supposed to do?
Too.
Watch Boondock Saints over and over and over again?
Yeah.
And they did write.
Watch it over and over again.
Oh my god! But they did write in Daryl's character for the show because Daryl's character is not in the comic books.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
So I would hate to see it happen, but they said there's going to be something big that will happen.
Well, there's always something big that happens at the mid-season finale.
But they basically said a pretty significant character is gonna. The other one that people think that's gonna die is gonna be Maggie because of the scene with the tree falling and her saying no, they're here, and I don't think it's gonna be Maggie.
I'd prefer to be Daryl.
I think if Maggie dies, I would riot too.
I'd rather be Daryl than Maggie.
Yeah, I'd rather be Daryl than Maggie.
But yeah, that was the things that came across when I saw what they were talking about, the little girl carrying Gracie's stuffed animal in that scene. I was like, I went back and watched it and I was like, oh crap, yeah, that's a really good catch. So, and we know Judith is dead in the comics, so
yeah. In the chat room, Beacon sort of disagrees with you, Mest. He says he doesn't think Rick is going to go down the Shane Road again with Daryl. He doesn't think Rick is going to kill Daryl. Yeah.
Stephanie says the writing is there, but no killing him. The only reason I think that he would have to go down the route of killing him is we've already gone down the route with Carol, where he essentially was killing her by exiling her without her weapon. Just like, you go, leave.
Right.
You're not, but that was because it was somebody that wasn't attached to him. If it's like I said, if it's Judith or Carl, which I don't think it's gonna be Carl, but if it's Judith,
I think he would have to actually literally kill Judith or Carl, like literally do it himself.
Yeah.
For Rick to do that. If Rick was indirectly responsible for them dying, I think he would get the exile.
But he kind of is responsible because Rick told him, "Do not do this." They got into a fight over it.
But indirectly responsible, I don't think that unless he puts a knife in one of those kids or pulls a trigger on one of them, I can't see Rick killing Daryl. I think if he was indirectly responsible, he would get the exile, and that'd be it.
Yeah, we see
exile. So we're thinking maybe exile.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
At least he's not.
Something big's happening. Something big's coming. That's all we know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm calling is I'm saying because I'm saying Judith dies from impact on Alexandria. This
all I'm gonna say, and this is just a pretty obvious prediction, is that the mid-season finale of Walking Dead is gonna be a barn burner, and something major is gonna happen.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be a cliffhanger, and we're all gonna be sitting there biting our nails until we get to see. Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to point out, let me see if I can do a share screen on this. If you guys go back and watch the scene, and I'm sure this was just a happenstance that this happened this way, but if you go back and watch the scene where Michonne and Daryl are talking in the car, if you look at Michonne's sword hilt, it looks almost like a hangman's knot hanging around Daryl's neck.
Does it really?
I'm going to see if I can do a share screen on here.
I noticed that there was a really odd placement on it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
What if that's a clue?
Can you guys see the photo?
No,
That pop up on my share screen?
I don't.
Ah, good Lord. All right, well, go back and watch it.
Put a link. Put a link in the comments. There you go.
Oh, I know why. Here we go. Now we'll do it. Can you see it now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can
does.
see that. Yep.
So that's just me seeing little stupid things, but I was like, man, if they were that keen on it,
that's a pretty broad interpretation of that picture. I don't know if I can get behind that.
Hey, stupid questions, man. The stupid.
That's fair.
We asked the stupid questions.
Nice desktop you got there.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I saw that. I wanted to show you guys that. So let's get into the last major story of the episode. And as we're tying into the stories with the comics and the differences with the comics, if you guys ever want to read the comics, trade paperbacks are fantastic for that. Our website, malice-corp.com, it's written there. You can go ahead and go to that website, go to the Amazon link through there, get your trade paperbacks at Amazon. You're going to go there anyways. It helps us out. And we do appreciate it greatly. And we appreciate you coming and joining us and nerding out with us and everything like that. Stephanie says she's going to cry if Daryl does die. Nightblood loves cliffhangers. Makes him want to watch it more. So, but that's a really long cliffhanger, Nightblood.
Yeah,
We gotta wait
it's too long.
those few months till we get to that next episode. So the third major story that happened in the episode was Rick and the Trash People, the Heapsters.
AKA of non-human bondage.
And I love looking up
naked hipsters.
anything about the Heapsters. I love looking up when people are talking about the show and the episodes, because every single time all everybody asks is, why do they talk like that? There's just
their syntax is just wrong.
It's their coding.
Yeah. And it's constantly like, well, maybe they're crazies from a nut house, or they could have been. What was the one I saw? They were maybe they weren't English speakers. They're all like Germans or something like that.
I mean, their accents are pretty solidly mid-Atlantic. Although I have to throw a quick shout out to our good buddy Beacon, who just recently finished binging the entire series.
Yay!
To catch up with us. Good job, Beacon. You are the binge master.
Literally the entire series.
Why is he not on the cast?
Because he's got to work in the morning, like real early. But he suggested he did not know that we call them the Heapsters. He suggested we call them the Garbage Pail Kids, and that's PA.
Yeah,
pale,
because they're so pale. Yeah,
except for the black dude.
Just dashing.
Y'all got any more of them?
Naked heapsters that like to sculpt.
So last week
they're so artistic.
Well, we know that and Beacon says good night. So good night, Beacon. We know that other people knew about Rick's plan because Rosita talks about it in this episode. So last week we didn't know if Daryl was the only one that knew, but everybody apparently knows that he's going to the Heapsters.
I wasn't lying. I didn't think it was.
I asked you guys last week, was it a good plan? What do you think, again, after watching this episode more, even though the final result, was it a good plan? And
I still think it was a good plan, or I kind of think it's a good plan. But the only thing is, though, is that Daryl did ruin the plan. So it's like, because we see that towards the end of the episode that plan was ruined because now Rick is in trouble again.
Well, we clearly see in the next week
I didn't
episode.
See it.
Well, the Heapsters are still there, so they didn't just bolt. They didn't just go, well, oh, you lie. You lie. You leave.
You
no
lie.
walkers.
God.
Why say things?
Yeah.
No ORs.
No, it's there. Okay, so two things. One, it was a terrible plan because apparently he had no backup. What's going on there? But the second thing is apparently it's a great plan because Rick doesn't need backup. He just beat up. He beat up 3 heapsters and a spike-headed walker with his hands tied and essentially nothing but pants on.
And if you guys know the name of that walker, if you guys know the name of that walker, please put it in the comments or in the chat in the chat room, because we know that the last spikehead walker's name was Winslow. So I don't know the name of this one.
I think this one's just Pinhead.
Bob. I'm gonna name it Bob. Its name is Bob.
But yeah, he just needed his skivvies.
I shall call him George, and he shall be my squishy.
My spiky squishy.
In light of his plan, people were asking, "What's his plan? Why did he go to the heapsters? Why did he even go to the trash people?" When I was rewatching episode 1 to find the stuff with Judith, the first speech that he gives at the very beginning of the episode, one of the lines he says in there is
like 9 speeches in that episode. Yeah.
But one of the lines he says, any person that would live in peace, find common ground, it's their right too. So I think that sheds a little bit of light on why he went to them, because they were willing to do a deal originally, even though a better deal came along with Negan.
Mm-hmm.
And because they were willing to partner up before, I think he feels that they should be given the benefit of the doubt to try and partner up properly again.
I can agree with that.
We think it's just stupid and there's no way that this is going to work out and they're going to end up backstabbing him again? Or
well, here's the thing. I think you have to give everybody a fair shake to make the right decision. And if they don't, then that's it. Especially in this world. You can't go back and forth. You can't be wishy-washy. It's going to get people killed.
Yep.
So being a mercenary in this area, not a great decision, at least according to Rick's philosophy. Rick's team could still work for the heapsters in one way or another, but we have yet to see.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't hit the like button, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've never seen us before and you'd like to see more of our content and more of the things that we do, please hit that subscribe button. We always send out notifications when we're going live.
We're very interesting.
You can follow us on Twitter where we send those notifications. So we do greatly appreciate you coming and talking. We do thank you, Nightblood and Stephanie, for joining in today's chat. This is always funner when
and Jay Lee from earlier
to talk with, and Jason Lee. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, so a couple other little Easter eggs that kind of happened with the episode. We did get Rosita saying, "I believe in Rick Grimes," which is stated.
A great line.
It's a great line, but it was kind of swept under the rug because it was just like thrown there. It would have been much more impactful if it was used as it was used in the comic. In the comic, it's Maggie saying it when she's trying to have the Hilltop rise up with Alexandria and against the Saviors.
thank you for spying on that for me. No, just kidding.
It definitely would have had more impact if it was in front of a group of people that didn't already believe in Rick Grimes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Which, I think that's basically what she was saying, is that you guys aren't sticking with this plan, as Morgan showed up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He saw
literally out of nowhere.
Saw them coming, and he went down to meet them. So was nowhere.
Just hanging out by the Savior complex.
The last time we saw him, he roamed into the woods.
What he's good at.
Yeah, but the last time we saw him, he roamed into the woods because he was a killing machine again. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, "Hey,
all saying again. You want to hang out?" Or
he's back there doing what he's been doing since like day one, sniping people.
It felt like, hey, they just said that I'm going to go to this other show, so I want to stop in real quick and.
I'm going to wander off to the other show and come back, snipe, and then come back.
Just like, if you guys need anything clear, let me know.
I'll be over here sniping.
That's that. Some people said that was a throwback as well, because that's back to when he was sniping, looking for his wife. And, but yeah, what was your guys' favorite moment of the episode?
Go ahead, Mrs. Malice.
Why do I always go first?
Okay, you know what? I can if you want.
I pick the best moments.
My actual favorite thing about the episode was Josh McDermott's acting.
Okay.
There were a lot of scenes of him not saying anything, you could see him thinking about his position, the things that had happened, evaluating things in his head. The dude is a really good actor. As much as I'm not a fan of the character right now, he is killing it.
I agree. He's been doing a fantastic job with it. So, what about you, Mrs. Malice?
The scene where Rick has got the queen of the trash people on the ground next to the head, and the head's all rah, rah, rah. And she's like, ah.
That was pretty good. And I loved his
a little bit of blood and guts, of course.
his bravado right there. Like, you know what? I know there's 23 people with guns aimed at me right now, but you know what? I'm walking out of here. And you know what? If you guys want to live, you're going to make a deal with me.
Yeah, pretty much.
And no sculpt.
Yeah, no sculpt.
No sculpting.
No sculpt.
That was a great little exchange too. Part of the deal that she wanted to make was I sculpt you without the pants.
All the sexual tension with Janice.
Janice.
So, and like I said, my favorite scene was the way Negan reacted to the kissing of the ring hand.
Oh, yeah.
His reactions to Eugene in general.
I love his reaction
fantastic.
there.
God damn, Eugene! How does it feel to be the second most important savior?
So I am going to give you the last bit of. I'm going to give you the last bit of Easter eggs from the episode. That may not have any relevance towards anything whatsoever, but could have relevance after all, as we lead out of this episode. So, number one, the sniper that Rick finds after.
Is that one of the scouts that they killed in the first couple episodes?
No.
I think that's one of Rick's snipers, but
okay.
Because otherwise they just drove the truck through the walls and then said, "Let's leave. They're cool. They're gonna be," that which would be stupid. So I'm assuming they took out, Rick Sniper. But in the comics, for people that haven't read, a character that they may think his demise is being shown, which basically we're thinking it's going to happen. Gabriel, in the comics, that's how he dies. He gets trips. He's a fantastic sniper. He's climbing down, trips up his leg, and gets caught there, hung on the thing, and dies on the.
But we know it's not Gabriel.
I know it's not Gabriel, but they're just thinking that that's a little Easter egg thing showing that, hey, this is the way Gabriel dies in the comic. They could be saying that Gabriel's days are numbered.
Sick from right now? What is he sick from? I don't.
That's the other Easter egg. So
don't get it.
Gabriel is sick from because Negan asked, has anybody ever gotten sick from the guts? And that's what Eugene says that he's sick from by doing that trick with the guts. Got him sick. So we're assuming that
he got some zombie stuff in his mouth.
He may have had in his mouth, had a cut, something, which in the comics, Negan tells all of his men to wrap their weapons in zombie guts because the new and improved Lucille, which is the shot in the comic. Here's the new and improved Lucille. I don't have to bash your head in. I
just have to hit you
with it. All I gotta do is give you a kiss and a love tap with it, and you guys are done.
No.
So he is turning. That's why his eyes are that way, and that's why he's sick, because
that's why he was so thirsty.
But the next time we see Negan, we may see Lucille wrapped in zombie guts because of this.
Probably Gabriel's zombie guts.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't want to live in that world. It sounds terrible.
Yeah. The last Easter egg potentially is that guy that was, once again, that they said foreshadowed Gabriel's death. There is a group of baddies called the Whisperers in the comics that wear the skins of zombies because their faces help them move along the hordes more. So they skin the zombies. That if you go back and look, that sniper that Rick finds, face is missing. Which they've known zombies to eat before, but not to do a proper.
Well, they're not going to skin them. Yeah.
So, well, that's a good sign that the show's going to carry on after this.
Which you see, the whispers in the comics come along a lot farther in the comics. They were thinking that the trash people were eventually going to become the Whisperers. So, for all we know, this could be a seed planting towards, because in the comics, in All Out War, it does a huge time jump, which is what we got in that first episode. It's a huge time jump. So it could follow the same lines, which is why we may end up being easy to get Morgan over to Fear the Walking Dead, because if Walking Dead does a huge time jump and then Fear the Walking Dead does a bit of a time jump, Morgan will slide right in.
Right.
Proper timing.
I think regardless, either way, I'm gonna have to, over the mid-season break, I'm gonna have to go to our Amazon link and get some of those trade paperbacks because I want to catch up. I want to read past 100.
Yeah, I need to read past too. So I'm behind on the comic books.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, go check those out. Like I said, go to malice-corp.com, click on the Amazon link there, go get your stuff. If you're going to buy stuff from Amazon anyways, go do it that way.
Especially with the holidays coming up. You know you're going to Amazon.
Yeah.
Go through our page. Help us keep doing this.
We appreciate you guys coming. As we head out of here, what do you think what's a big thing that you think will happen in next week's mid-season finale, Mr. Zorro? Who do you think's going to die, or what do you think's going to happen?
Well, based on the ending with Rick showing up at the Savior compound and seeing the garbage truck driven through the wall, Rick and Daryl are going to beat the crap out of each other at one point. But I don't think it's going to end with Daryl dying. I think there's going to be some sort of major retaliation from the Saviors, maybe or maybe not, based on things Eugene has said. I think Eugene might die as well.
Okay. About you, Mrs. Malice?
I don't want to think what's going to happen because it's either way. I know I'm going to cry. I'm going to scream and yell and cry and scream no and stop.
So come back for next week's cast because it's going to be fantastic as Mrs. Malice breaks down crying every time we start talking.
But wait, aren't you on record as loving the carnage though?
Yeah, but I don't like it when my favorite characters die. And
only
I do
carnage
have
from
a
people
lot
you
of
don't
them.
like.
So I mean, I cried when the tiger died. I cried when Glenn died. I cried when Sophia died. I cried when Lori died. So, which is kind of.
Are you going to be really mad at the end of this? Negan's not dead.
I will kind of like cry and be happy and angry all in one.
No, I'm saying if at the end of the season, and all is done, if Negan's not dead, will you be mad? Mm-hmm.
I will be mad.
Go read the comics.
And also, Mrs. Malice, as much as the show has made you cry, are you still happy that I introduced you to it?
Yes, thank you.
And the last comment that we got in the chat room is that Stephanie agrees with Mrs. Malice, and then that's not funny. LOL. But yeah, the only other thing that I could say that maybe we'll get an answer to in next week's, I still think it's going to drag into the second half of the season, but maybe we'll find out who was flying the helicopter.
That's what I want to know too. Oh my God, this helicopter.
This is the third helicopter we've seen in this show.
Are you sure it's the third one?
We've seen the answer to one of them.
Yeah, the one that crashed and
that led to the governor. Yeah. But we never got an answer to the one that flew over Atlanta in the first season.
Maybe it's the same one. Maybe.
I
mean, it's been enough of a time jump that it could have traveled a lot of different places. So
yeah.
Okay, but I mean, that may have been the one that crashed with the governor's people. But then, where's this? If that's the same one, then where's this second one coming from? And if it's not the same one, then where's this third one coming from?
Or this helicopter could be something pertaining to what the fat lady actually is. If it wasn't the truck,
Or back when they were back in Atlanta, they talked about somebody, coming and saving them. Maybe this is a helicopter still looking for survivors.
Yeah,
and I was kind of thinking that too. We still don't know what the rest of the world looks like at this point. Yep. We have no idea if this is on any other continents.
Well, we know what the West Coast looks like.
Right.
Way.
Yeah, back at the beginning. Sure.
The Walking Dead, but
we don't know. I mean, even in Fear the Walking Dead, we don't know if the same thing is happening on other continents or if it's just North America or the Americas in general.
Stephanie put Negan needs to die.
No, we do know because remember when they found
the mid-season finale.
When they found the scientist, he told them that he lost connection with all the other scientists. So we do know that it's outbreaks around the world.
And actually, you know what? Considering the fact that discovered, I think it was around the end of season 3, or actually it was when the scientist guy at the CDC told Rick, unbeknownst to the rest of us, that it's airborne at this point. So it's clearly got to be happening around the rest
He's
of the
saying
world.
everybody has it.
Yeah.
Everybody had it.
Yeah.
Everybody has it.
So it's back to all those biblical things within the tied into the series. So it's Armageddon basically. So yeah, thank you so much guys for coming. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please hit that. Come back next week as we talk the mid-season finale. It's gonna be a doozy. That's what the creators and the writers saying. And they said that by the mid-season finale, we will know what everything that was going on in episode 1 of this season meant, what was going, so we should get answers for at least.
We're going to get a lot more flash forwards then. Okay, good.
Explaining what's going on with those flash forwards. If they were,
it's just that Rick ran out of hair products. He ran out of his hair dye. He's been naturally this gray the whole time.
Yeah. He's like Joey from Friends.
God.
Good pull.
But yeah, come back next week and join us. If you want to follow the website, malice-corp.com, we do go and write articles on there. We haven't had too many coming out, but we do have some fun ones coming out. There's one about Jazzercise coming out tomorrow for one of the
not just Jazzercise. It's from David Hayden Jones, who plays Arthur Ketch on Supernatural. If you're a fan of Supernatural at all, and this video was edited by our very own Super Hoovian Freak, she got pulled as one of 3 Super Ketch fans on Twitter to edit a video for the dude. If I know she's not part of this cast, but follow her on Twitter as well at Superhoovian Nut. She's a real good follow.
And every Thursday they do the Supernatural live cast to talk about the episodes going on, where ICZorro,
which I host.
Yeah. Which only because he's watched the show.
I mean, if you like pretty face in this super smooth radio voice.
If you want to follow the whole Malice Corp brand on Twitter, you can go to @MaliceCorp. The links are in the descriptions below, so you can click on those down there to go to all the Twitter handles. For the cast, just the MaliceCast, just the people that get onto YouTube and talk to you guys, you can follow @MaliceCast on Twitter. Where can we follow you, Mr. Zorro?
I am, as it describes in the show notes below the video, at ICZorro on Twitter and Instagram. I've recently put up some Movember stuff. I've finally gotten my own look back with the shaved head and the beard. For a while I was Uncle Fester, and then for a while I was homeless dude, but now I'm back to there you go. So pretty, right?
Don't ever do that again.
also, well, I'm going to do it next November. And also I put up some.
No, I mean, don't do the showing your face.
I know, right?
Hey,
no more close-ups. You're not ready. Zorro, you're not ready for your close-up. Stop.
This isn't a how to trim your beard video.
If you too want a boy band chin strap.
If you want to follow Mrs. Malice, she doesn't have a Twitter, but you can follow Mr. Malice at Jack_Malice on Twitter and send all the tweets and discussions and jokes to her at his Twitter. If you guys want to follow,
sorry, I'm just seeing myself on my tablet now because it's about a 30-second delay. I look ridiculous.
Why do you think I said that?
When I say don't ever do that again, there's a reason. If you want to follow,
I'm so amused by me right now.
If you want to follow me, Mest, you can follow me at Mest_Malice Corp. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm going to do all these little pointy things right now for those that aren't watching live. If you are watching live, just click on that subscribe button and that like button. Thank you so much for watching. But if you are not watching live and you want to see last week's cast talking about last week's episode, click on the video that's going to pop up there. If you want to see something recommended for you from the site, click on the video that's going to pop up there. If you want to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click on the little thing that's going to pop up there. If you guys want to see the memoriam for John Bernacker from San Diego Comic-Con, that is in our San Diego Comic-Con viewing list as well on our channel, so you can watch that. It's a few minutes long, but it was a really, really nice, sweet spot. Yeah, thank you for coming. We guys will see you next Monday. So
Yeah, for the mid-season finale.
Keep nerding on.
I will be crying, probably.
Carry on. Carry on.
Bye.